How you doing, guys? I'm Sean. Welcome to Rambles with my camera. Guys, today's video is part of a series of videos I've been making about the story behind my photographs. And this photograph here, I was taken in West Belfast in 1986. And it was probably one of the first films that I shot on my own, on a 35mm film camera. And it would have been on a Praktica. I'm not too sure, it's a TL3 I think it was. But it was a Praktica camera. And why it's so special for me is obviously because that was when I started doing photography. I was probably only learning photography on a 35mm camera about 2 months. And I learned my photography at that stage in Belfast Exposed. If you're not familiar with Belfast Exposed, I'll put links up above where I talked about how I got into photography and how Belfast Exposed gave me the foundations, but also gave me a camera to use and film to use and taught me how to use a darkroom and develop. And I met so many great friends there to this day. And so they're very, very important in my life. They're the foundations of my photography. And that photograph there, when I took it, the first thing I was drawn to was the fact that the kid was so immaculately dressed. Now, it could be a wee school uniform or whatever, but he was so clean and so tidy, but yet the graffiti all around him. That box that he's sitting on is a telephone engineer's box, so if there was a fault in the line, the engineer would go and open up them doors and he would work on the system in there. So, but even that's grubby. I don't know what's piss stains or what along the bottom, maybe some dog or whatever, or some guy with a few drinks in him. But the fact is that it's so grubby there, but yet the kids at MacLeod was the first thing I captured. Now, if you look up at top where you see Beechmount Grove, and that's actually obviously it's rubber stamping where it was taken. It was taken in the Beechmount housing estate. I used to cut through that house and see a lot of friends there. And basically, it's on the just off the Falls Road in West Belfast. And the thing about that photograph was actually the first ever photograph that I had sold for money. And I was at an exhibition, a photographic exhibition down at Cabra West in Dublin with Belfast Exposed. And we were selling loose prints. Do you know when you're doing an exhibition, you'd be doing prints and then you'd be putting them on the boards, mount boards and putting them up onto the wall. Well, the extra prints that you would have took may not have been perfect condition, but you know, maybe didn't make the cut or whatever. We would have sold them at the exhibition. So they were all selling for £1, which is about just under £1 maybe $1. And I remember the woman came up and she picked up my photograph and she went and said, "How much is it?" And I said, £1. And she said, "That's too cheap." And I said, "No, what's the price?" And she said, no, let me give you more than that because, you know, it's worth more than £1. She said, "It's a ridiculous price." I said, no, that's all it was. But what she was missing was, and maybe it was only the way I was feeling, maybe the ego was better of me, by her saying to me how she wanted to give me more money for the print, it wouldn't have mattered if she gave me £1 million. I felt as if, you know, somebody really liked my photograph, and that was the first ever time that I heard that. And I guess it was ego, there's no question about it, but it's fucking brilliant for somebody to like your photograph. And I remember, and I was so proud of myself, and I had that euro now it is, punt, and I remember being so happy, and she was happy as well. And I wonder whatever happened to the photograph. Maybe she stuck it in the wall, and who knows, maybe she stuck in the bathroom wall. I don't know. But the fact is, I always wondered, you know, did she put it in the wall? Did she get enjoyment from it? Did people go into her home get enjoyment or ask questions where she got it? And I think that's a positive thing about photography. It's not about us. It's about us capturing a little slice, a nice slither of time for the future generations to look at. I always say we're capturing the present so those in the future can look back at the past. And yes, at that moment when I took it, yes, when the woman seen that photograph was possibly only about 2 months old. It was a relatively new photograph and I took it. And it was, the exhibition was within about 2 months of me taking it. So it was a new photograph. So yes, she was watching it at that moment in time. But fast forward 30 years nearly, probably 28 years, I posted it up onto the Facebook page. And as a result of doing that, we were able to locate who the kid was. He was called Sean Paul Moorland. Now, obviously, I didn't know the kid's name at that stage, but here's a twist. The kid is now a man, and his wife was on, and people were saying that their children look so like that, the kid there. And just to read that and see the banter, so now that kid is a grown man. He's got kids of his own the same age. And not only is he seeing the photograph for the first time, his wife and his children and their friends are seeing it as well. And I think that's the important about photography. We can't get wrapped up thinking that the photograph is just for this moment in time. And yes, it does play the part. We could share the photograph and say, look, that's a lovely photograph. But I'm more interested in the future generations seeing them photographs, because we really are capturing the present so those in the future can be looking back at the past. So guys, would that photograph been as powerful if there was no graffiti there? If the box wasn't as grubby? If the kid was scruffy? Would it be as important without the Beechmount Grove up in the top, which would have rubber stamped where it was? And you know, in the bigger picture of things, it's not a Pulitzer Prize winning photograph. It's just one of my first photographs, and I love it. And I think it's captured a moment in time that, you know, it's going to be special for that kid. It's special for me. It may even be special for the woman who purchased it, if she was still living at that stage, because she was an older woman when she bought it. And that's I just think that I can take photographs. And don't be worrying about too much about winning competitions. Don't be worrying about what people are really going to say, tell you. Don't let that stop you getting out and taking photographs and documenting them. And if you can, include something in the photograph where future generations will be able to find out where it is, like up at Beechmount Grove. I was intentionally photographed. I was intentionally there in the shot. And I'd done a lot of series of photographs with the street names in the corner, so it specifically had that in shot. So try to include something like that in. And if you're not already doing it, write down the details. If you're shooting digital, write down where you've took a photograph, good captions, put them into the metadata, your information on the photographs, because we're not going to be here. And if we're not here to tell the stories of behind the photographs, then we're leaving it up to other people that probably make their own observations, and it could be wrong. So document where you've taken it. If you can, get a name of the person in the photograph, but certainly at least a good date when you took it, where you took it, and any comments that you think could possibly help future generations to know exactly what's going on. So guys, listen, there you go. Thank you so much for watching, and can I say thanks very much for your comments and support about my house move. I've got 2 days to go. Well, I say 2 days ago, it's Monday evening now. I'm going away on Wednesday morning, so just over a day to go. Happy days are here again. So videos are going to be probably coming up at the weekend. I've got the meetup in Belfast with the photographers, street photography, at 10 o'clock on the Saturday morning. And you're more than welcome to come along. I'll put a link up above there to the posting on that. So guys, listen, send you love from Ireland, and thanks again for watching. Get out there and take some photographs, and know that we're capturing the present so those in the future can look back at the past.